Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Truth Table episode 79. Getting up to 100 now. We've got an election in 5 days, so I want to uh, get. I want to take that opportunity to let you meet the candidates in your riding. So it's not just a name on a piece of paper, but it is a person, a real person that has your back. And that's the kind of guests that I like to have, the ones that I can have a little faith in, because I certainly wouldn't have a liberal on this show. But today's guest is Stephen Campbell, who's representing the riding of Elgin, St. Thomas, and London South. And we're going to meet him, find out why he got into politics, and why he chose the People's Party of Canada right after this. You can find our candidate for Elgin, St. Thomas, and London South at the People's Party People's Party of Canada.ca. And I'd like to welcome my guest on the show. Thank you for coming, Stephen, to the Truth Table.
Yeah, it's all about the truth. It will
So
set you
tell me,
free.
what was it about the state of Canada and Canadian life that inspired you to become politically involved?
It's been a long journey for me, actually. I've been doing this for 16 years. So my brother and I both had homes in London. We saw the degradation of our city, and I thought I was a two-time uh, diploma person out of Fanshawe College that I could just run in our area and fix the problems with homeless. It was homelessness back then when I started. But it wasn't that bad like it is today. It's just the liberal government has destroyed our country. And actually, I've learned other things that I never knew what the liberals did to us as well. So I don't I have a tough time talking about it. But
I think if they got another mandate, I think Canada would be finished
yeah,
completely.
well, I'm getting out of farming. Well, I own all the equipment. I'm going to try and help other people. Like I can do some side work for people, but my parents just sold their land, and I didn't fight them for it because I feel there's no hope in our country if they get back in. And another thing is that we have three financial planners because we're just going to invest the money and live off the money. Um, but all of them say if the liberals get back into not invest in Canada. So I feel like everyone's going to lose their job. When people lose their job, they get into severe depression. Three of my friends committed suicide last year.
That's terrible. So you decided to get politically involved, and what was it about the People's Party that drew you to it, as opposed to the other ones?
The freedom. So a lot of people don't know this, and that's why I explain it all the time. The NDP, I do like the NDP. They have a lot of great ideas, but they can never execute their ideas because there's this thing called a party whip. A party whip controls the party whether you like to do something for your region or not. So like I'm pretty sure they said they didn't want carbon taxes, but they backed the liberals with the carbon taxes, and that's because they have a party whip. And the PPC party does not have a party whip. So if Maxime Bernier wants to vote differently than I do on a specific issue, I can vote differently than him in Parliament. So we both, if we, it'd be awesome if we were together in two green chairs he can say something different than me. He's representing Quebec region that he's in. I'm supporting Elgin. Elgin only. That's all I support. So I go out to the community. I have a farmers debate tonight, and I talk to the farmers and I get their feelings. So I feel like the quota system right now is a 50-50 split. Some farmers like it, some farmers don't. But I see fundamental flaws in that too. So I feel it could be fixed. So, but a lot of people, I feel they won't vote for me simply on that one minute issue. And we would have to actually have a majority government in order to even put that in. So this time around, I'm hoping we get 5 to 10 seats because our candidates are working so hard. And my Elgin is so much better than all the other people because I had Chelsea Hillier before us. And
Oh
she
yeah.
ran such an amazing campaign. She took us to the level that we needed to be. She's exceeded our level. So it actually takes 4.45 years to get elected. So there's a woman in London, she lost 4 times before she won. And this is our 3rd time out. But I feel Chelsea hit the 4 time mark. So now I'm either 4 time or 4.5. This could be the PPCs here in Elgin.
I'm surprised that there's only 50-50 with the farmers. If they only knew that you're the only party that will go after this supply management mafia
Yeah, yeah.
and
Um,
allow them more freedom to give people reasonable prices in their milk and their
well,
egg.
I actually don't get that from the farmers.
Oh no.
They because they feel it's reasonably priced because the truck and they're paying the truckers well, they're paying the
Yeah.
factory well, and
Yeah.
they think that's a reasonable price.
Hmm.
Um, but there is a fundamental flaws with the milk.
And what about
We had Ayrshire cows. So we
yeah.
sold ours off and then it went to Holstein. So basically, all the Ayrshires have been wiped out of Ontario. So if you go to Quebec, Quebec still has tons of Ayrshire cattle. And if you go to the Royal Winter Fair, they have an Ayrshire show on the Friday, and there's no Ontario anymore. The show at the Royal used to be double because there used to be Ayrshires at the show, and now the Holstein has the big arena, and they're full from Ontario. I don't pay attention to the Holsteins, but I think there's Quebec ones as well.
Hmm.
So our region is different than Quebec, right?
Yeah.
So that's where the individual rep has to talk to the people to find out how they feel. And then we have to either tweak the policy just a little to help the farmers of my region. And
Hmm.
also, Quebec doesn't have a major, they have Maine next to them, right? What other province is there? Or not province, state.
Yeah.
So
So
down
this.
here in Ontario, we have Michigan and we
Yep.
have Ohio. One single barn in Michigan could wipe out our whole entire market.
Wow.
They could flood our market, put cheap products in, kill our farmers. Our farmers would all go under, and then that one barn could raise the prices to whatever they want after. And they're actually subsidized in the States. We're not subsidized. So
Hmm.
our region is a little bit different than Quebec. So that's where our policy has the freedom that we don't have a party whip. So I need to have more, if I get in, I need to have roundtable discussions in our I break
Yeah.
down Elgin into 3 regions. I say West Lorne, Almer, and Center Aligned. So I'd have
Right.
to have 3 meetings with the people and find
Hmm.
out what I can do for them. But they don't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. They definitely need to know that you're the only one that's actually will sit at the table and vote according to the best interest of the riding, as
Yeah,
opposed to the party itself.
yeah.
So it's almost like independence as well. They're the same. They could,
And that's what I love this party, because if you had a policy in your NDP and they say no quota or whatever, um,
yeah.
they have to follow it. And then on top of them following it, if their party whip all of a sudden decides, oh, we're not doing that now, we're going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they did. That's what they did and back the liberals, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody has an understanding of this. So like last week, I spent 5 days trying to get in the Times Journal here, St. Thomas Times Journal, and then at the last minute they pulled my ad. They wouldn't put me in. They're like, oh, we're going to put you in on the 29th because I discussed what we discussed here. And I had a little thing about the air showers and the differential problem. And I think maybe we should have large market and small market because we need farmers to get back into the industry as well. So that it's such a price gap that no small guy can get in. So that's what I see as a fundamental flaw of the quota system. And that's probably why a lot of people don't want the quota system as well. So it's a bigger, multifaceted problem that needs to be hashed out. And it's not a bureaucrat that's going to figure this out. I farmed and I've lived the life, right? So I know more than a podcaster like the blue guy. The red guy is a rich guy, arrogant guy that sent a mob after both of us. And the other guy came from West London. This region is really weird right now. Two guys are from West London, and I don't even know the other guy. I don't think he's from London, here either. So I grew up here. I play baseball here. I play hockey in Belmont. I travel the district. We go to Port Glasgow every Wednesday, but my ball team's changing to Wednesday, so that'll be a different day now. So if you guys want to hang out with me, it'll be a different day.
I think my biggest concern is almost everyone I know supports the People's Party.
Yeah.
And are you concerned about the false polls?
Yes, false polls, they never include us, so how can they be real?
But they're all. I think they're jacking up the Liberals. There's no way they even have party status after what they've done to Canadians.
Well, you would think that. Like, remember when the Wynne government? You're the Wynne government. Yeah, you were in Ontario for a while.
Oh, I know the Wynne. Yes,
they got annihilated. They were predicting that they're going to get 60% of the seats, and they don't even have party status.
Kathleen Wynne is why I ran in politics in 2018.
Yeah. Well, I started because I didn't like the NDP Mathesons.
Because I thought she's going after the kids now, the minds of the children.
Yeah.
And just poisoning their brains, basically,
sick
in the education.
Yeah.
I think it's still poison.
Oh, it's pure sickness in there now. Like
it's like, yeah,
they don't.
It's like a war from within.
Like I feel they should be reading and writing, and then they shouldn't be giving computers until the age of grade 4, because then you have to learn to read and write before you can type. So by grade 4, you used to write, and when you read, then you write, then you read again, you remember. These people are just they're given documents off a computer and they're not learning. Like for me as a learner, like I took sailing, and the people thought it was weird because I was like, can you send me the book? I'll read the sailing book. Then I came to class, and then I was like, I have a question on this item. Can you explain it to me? And then they explained it to me, and then I was like, aha. But if I didn't read the book prior to going there, I would have been like not understanding how to sail.
Well, I know two people, 18, 17, just out of school and in school, and their writing is illegible.
Oh yeah,
I can't even read it.
Yeah. Oh, they can't even read the writing.
Yeah, they can't read it, and the spelling is atrocious. And these people are out of school, are close to graduating, and this is the absolutely waste of education that they can't even write.
Yeah.
So we definitely got a big problem.
They can't type or read either, and they don't know that they're making mistakes. Like I saw a girl one time, her whole entire document had 1,000 mistakes in it. And the words she did get right, it was a Puss in Boots article, and she had Puss in Bots. So that's the correct words. It wasn't highlighted in red. So even the words she got correct were wrong. Like she didn't have there, she didn't have there, she didn't have they, she didn't have are, she didn't have is. They were all wrong. She was in grade 8. How do you think that girl's going to get a job? And she doesn't even know.
The provincial government controls the education, Is there anything on the federal level that the PPC can do,
Uh,
like
the,
passing laws to like remove this DEI?
well, yeah, because the DEI is at the federal level. We can eliminate it if I get in.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah. So that's
Oh my.
federal level, and $11 billion has gone overseas. That's not even the money we're spending internally. One
Yep.
school board probably spends, well, they have at least 5 people at the top doing a DEI program at one school board. So that's, and those positions are usually 100,000 or more. So that's $500,000 spent on 5 people in one school board. So you think of across Canada now, with every school board has spent 5 million on a top level DEI program. Like we could balance the budget by cutting the DEI program.
Yeah.
And
Isn't that
like
crazy?
my grandmother was an English major, and
Mhm.
like I'm not good in English. Like I'm superior in math, like perfect in math. My brother's perfect in math. But like,
That was my top subject. That was my best one, mathematics. I loved it.
yeah, I did accounting, and then I was gonna. In college, you were allowed to be an accountant through college without going to university. As the last year, you could do that, but I switched to computers. Then I did back end accounting for 10 years in computers. So I was trying to get away from accounting and did 10 years of it.
Good God, yeah, that'd be crazy. So, what
Oh,
do you
yeah.
think? What do you think the part of the platform that really would benefit your writing?
Cutting carbon taxes. It harms the farmers so much.
Hmm.
The transportation costs to get your stuff to market is so high. All the grain mills, not specifically Elgin, actually. Elgin has gotten lucky, but the Lambton and Middlesex, nothing has been spent a dime of infrastructure. Like if you go to Brazil, they are building infrastructure. They're building grain mills. They're building tankers to get their grain to market, and
Right.
we are actually dependent on the U.S. market. So if we get into a trade war, again, it's harming the farmers here. Like so, we have pork facilities. One is in Hamilton, the big ones, and the rest of them
Right.
have to get it over the border. And if you can't get it over the border, every single day, that hog farmer will be losing money, losing money, losing money till he loses his farm. So
And
they
it
they
just
want
seems
to they want a trade war. Like it's not harming us. We don't have to put a tariff back. It's harming them. It's harming them at the 25%. And we the PPC party actually want to just negotiate and bring it down to 15 or 10% because um, it, they want one, and we're a good trading partner. So there's no reason we can't get it down to 10 or 15% without starting off. Let's counter tariff. That's ridiculous. Now you're harming us.
do you consider it election interference to exclude the People's Party candidates that have the signature already in the system to run and be on the ballot, to exclude them from the debates? Do you
Yeah,
find that
it's
election interference?
100% illegal. The elections, we have an elections act, and it actually says if you give free time to one party or candidate, you have to give free time to all candidates or parties. If you give paid time to all candidates or parties, you must give paid time to all candidates or parties. So not only the PPC, the Green Party, because people like, oh, you don't have seats, so you're not allowed. That's not the election act. Like people don't know the election act. So I've got this other website called the 22 movement, and I have a link to the elections act so you can read the elections act. And I have every single party in Canada. So like when I started the website, there was 22 other parties that people could investigate and look into. So like four of my favorites are veterans that they're new. Christian Heritage is a longtime party, and they make enough money, and they probably have the $75,000 to get into that debate. So that's paid time in the Elections Act. And then the next party would be Libertarian. Libertarian, before COVID, ran a candidate in every single riding, 338 before the PPC even came into existence. And the Libertarian leader of Canada actually lives in London, Ontario, and he moved to Sarnia, Ontario right now. So we have a really great rep. And so we have Brian Everett and we have Jacques, and those are two great candidates. That's vote splitting. So, like, people go, don't split the vote for red, don't split the vote for blue. Those are two bad parties. Don't even vote for them. I don't get logic here.
Yeah. What about the mail-in ballots? I've
I
heard a
don't
lot
even
of.
know about that. Like,
Yeah, well, yeah, Maxine. Well, what I found out is that like over like 200,000 mail-in ballots were found a year after the last election
yeah.
that would have changed the results.
Well, the
Yet,
other problem in Max's district, there's a party. uh, It's called the Rhinoceros Party, and they're sort of like comedians. And they put a guy in there called Max Bernier, and the other Max Bernier got about 2,000 votes. So if you put the two Max Berniers together, he probably won.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I
So
think it feels like we have a coup here, a soft coup
yeah.
with five colors and five flavors
Well,
pretending
I
to
don't
be
get why they would do
different.
that to Maxime. Like, why wouldn't they do that to somebody else?
Well, I mean, I see it as a soft coup because they won't allow the candidates on the debates. I
Yeah.
mean, that's coup stuff. That's criminal. We
Well,
have criminal complicity and negligence and
yeah.
election interference that's not being dealt with. It hasn't been dealt with. No one was fired. How can we trust these people? Since the 1900s, we've gone from liberal, conservative, back and forth, and we still haven't learned. And people are still falling for this like they're all their alternative is just to soften up the things we don't like the carbon tax,
Yeah. We don't
and
need
then
it at all.
yeah.
Well, because
So
there's actually a grants and loans book. It's 1,000 pages. All you have to do is take some pages out and put some green energy initiatives in, and you
mhm.
don't even need the carbon tax. And like giving away to these battery plants, I don't even think that's the correct technology we should be using. Like
No.
hydrogen seems to be a better
Yep.
method. Also,
Yep.
with my none of the above leader, he can actually convert my diesel engine to run on ammonia. Ammonia already has the infrastructure in every single small town because we used to use it as a fertilizer. So every single grain mill used to have a tank for ammonia. So you could actually, with the proper fill up services, every single small town and every single grain mill could actually
Mhm.
be servicing your vehicle as a ammonia station instead of a gas station. And the infrastructure is there. So you wouldn't even have to spend a dime. This is why I like Greg's technology,
Yeah.
because the infrastructure is already there. Where the other one, you have to build the infrastructure. And if you have those city buses, a charging unit is $500,000. You know how many charging units you need throughout your city to continuously charge that bus? Then the
Mhm.
batteries are dead after 5 years. You got to, even if you have a bus after 5 years it's $1 million bus, and a diesel bus is actually only half a million. And if Greg's technology was used in the diesel bus, you convert to ammonia, and ammonia is CO2 free. I actually said this in London 16 years ago,
Mhm. would
but
would the
I'm
PPC
silenced there.
would the PPC party identify and remove poisons from the food and cereals and that it's been allowed over the years?
I haven't checked through the policies that we have, but that's a great talking point of something that we need to investigate further. I don't think Canada is as bad as the U.S. Like I think I'm thinking Gatorade right now. So the Gatorade dye they use in the States is different than the Gatorade here. I
Yep.
would, if somebody brought that forward to me in Elgin and that's a concern, then I would definitely start looking into it.
Yeah, I mean, you could create a body that would investigate all the food,
Yeah,
take one thing off the shelf at a time, grab all cereal or grab all this and grab all that. Because, like, where these ingredients are banned, like in some European countries,
yeah.
the ingredients list is totally different. So somehow our government is, taking bribes and stuff and allow these things like red dye. I mean, we do have poison in our food.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
I'm a little concerned too. Like our milk has like they're adding three things to it now, and I would rather have the milk pure. Also,
yeah.
like we were talking about Ayrshires. Ayrshires has a better protein content, and they don't produce as much as Holsteins, and Holsteins are actually watered down. So they actually a Holstein farmer would bring in Guernseys or Jerseys, And to bring the milk fat content up, I would actually rather have pure Ayrshire. I'd rather see on a glass bottle pure Ayrshire milk, and that's how I used to drink it as a kid.
Yeah. Well, you would allow raw milk. You wouldn't. You would take the illegals off of that and let people have it if they choose to.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a good process because lots of farmers actually per cow have a little sample bottle. We had a case with a little sample bottle and we tested each cow. So we knew if it's TB, I think that's the problem. So you test the milk per cow and you know if a cow has a problem and you take it out of the milking operation and you do that every day. The unfortunate problem is if you catch it too late, then you have to throw out that batch because it's contaminated because it goes into one tank. So it gets tested every day anyways. So I don't understand
That's
why
great.
you
That's
can't have raw milk. We used to
yeah.
have a glass jar and scooped it out and we brought it into the house.
And see, that's reasonable to me. That's the responsibility that mothers and fathers make over the dinner table. They don't add arsenic. They don't. They will test before they let their children eat something. Sometimes, it's just common sense to want the best for the next generation. The
Yeah,
best
they're like
education, the best food.
they're adding D3. I think it's D3 or it's a D vitamin that they're putting in, but you actually need another supplement in order to activate the D vitamin. So unless I think it's magnesium. I'm thinking it's magnesium. I can't quote that off my head though, but you actually have to add magnesium to the D3 so your body can process it. So putting D3 in the milk is actually useless.
If you go to your website 22M and me the link in private chat, I can share it with everyone here.
Okay. So on that other page there.
Yeah. So while you're looking, I'm guessing that you would be behind my idea of having a trans sports other than just putting boys and girls sports.
Yeah,
To
like
if they
well,
want to be unique,
yeah.
they should be allowed to have a trans
Well,
teams.
I don't understand. Okay, their basic biology, I think they should compete at the biology level that they're at. Like, even though
Exactly.
they identify as something else, they still are they should be in
Yeah.
the biological category. I don't think there's enough of them to have
That's
their own. That's
yeah.
probably the
I,
major problem, stepping stone, right?
that's it
So,
exactly.
like growing up, I only think we had one gay person per classroom. So you only had I only have four friends that are gay that I grew up with.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's a very
of the four friends, none of them are trans.
yeah. It's all uh, uh, it's a very small minority, like 0.0004% of Canada. So I mean, it has been growing because it's being propagated to young influential minds, which I consider child abuse. It really is. They have weaponized children by giving them incentives. If you like girls and you want to go in the girls' change room, all you gotta do is identify this way, and the door's open for you.
No, the problem is consent. Legal age of consent is was 14. They increased it to 16. Why are we trying a person that's never had sex and we're trying to make them to believe that they're another sex and maybe they're
Mhm.
just gay. They don't know they're
Yeah,
gay yet and they're forcing them to be trans.
yeah,
They don't know what they are yet. They need more
yeah,
time and if
yeah,
they're in public school, they they just need to be kids and have fun.
yeah. But they've gone overboard. They have
Yeah.
kitty litter in the classroom.
Yeah.
People who
I know.
identify as
You
cats.
know,
They've gone
because
too far.
I haven't seen kitty litter, but kids shit on the floor in the bathroom, and the custodian almost every day. There's a like they don't know how to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, it's sad. This to me, this is our last chance
Yeah,
to reclaim our country and our culture. And it's very sad to me because I'm almost certain that they're going to cheat anyway. They're cheating in the polls. They're cheating with the media. They're excluding the parties and the people that actually give a damn.
Yeah. And then we have the media circus over the leaders debate, and everyone's focused so hard on that leaders debate that they never take the time to look at their local rep.
Or they don't have time because they have to have 3 jobs to buy food.
Yeah. Well, the biggest problem for me, and the only reason I think I will lose, I don't think I'll lose. I still think I'd win, but like that one media source wouldn't put me in. So that's 40,000 people. If I didn't get that other interview, I feel I would have lost. I'm lucky enough that there's one good media source that I can get to. Then I have another guy uh, from St. Thomas Tea as a clothing, and he has his own production studio, and he's like really tight with the market that I need to reach out to. So I got an interview with him yesterday, and I was like, oh, thank you, God. And the only reason I got an interview with him yesterday is I was hanging out with the homeless people. They had his number, and they texted him my number, and we did an interview 2 hours later.
So
If I
when you get a seat, I'm going to be calling you Honorable Campbell,
Yeah,
Honorable Minister. So will you come back on the show if you get a seat? When you get a seat, will you return to the truth table so we can celebrate
oh yeah,
and share the victory with the Canadians that are desperate at this point?
you and Malik will be the first two people I have interviews with.
Yeah, I would like to get all the candidates to get a seat and just have like a big uh
I'll come to you, man. I'll put my arm around you in a second.
yeah, oh my God. It's like we almost lost it all.
Yeah. Well, even if like my biggest thing is like people want vote splitting, but like if let's say I'm the only guy that gets in, I think it opens next year too. Maxime Bernier will be in the leaders debate if I get in. Then the
Yeah.
next year, then I can advocate for the libertarians. Like we could have a separate show night and just be PPC, libertarian, Christian, and green.
Yeah.
Because
Well, I've
the
been
other problem is what's that? Veterans don't have enough money, so those debate organizers put a price tag on it that's so high that most parties can't get in. But we all had the money. We all should be in the debate because the Elections Act says if you have paid time to one candidate or party, you must offer to one candidate or every party. And those
Mhm.
parties had the money. So why wasn't it? My question is in Rogers. No, not Rogers. Rogers is actually an awesome company and they do everything correctly. CBC. So they get $1.4 million, billion. I
Mhm.
not million, billion, and they're charging leaders for a leaders debate. And they should. Well, why isn't it free time? And why don't we have 3 nights of different segments of different leaders? They can
Yeah.
be smaller panels at 4 because the other ones are too
Yeah.
big anyways. And those other fours, it's so stupid. I didn't even watch it. I watched it like for 10 minutes and they all said the same thing, but with 2 words different.
Mhm.
Like
Well, I
it's the same
I will
party.
never interview the other parties like the NDP liberal candidates, the conservative candidates,
Yeah.
because this is the truth table, not the disinformation table.
Yeah.
Of course, depending on how well they cheat this time, it could after the 28th, this might be the misinformation table. It's
Yeah.
uncomfortable truth. But would you support a parent's right to defend their own home
Yes,
with
self-defense is one of the
firearms?
biggest issues I'm supporting. I want our firearms back. I had my truck stolen off our property. Around here, trucks are stolen every week. One
Oh,
guy got beat in his laneway, an older senior person. So a senior person can't defend themselves, and having that weapon available to them, they're like you don't want to kill somebody, but it's called castle doctrine actually. Just having that weapon and
yeah.
they wouldn't do something. You wouldn't have to fire it, hopefully.
No, no,
But
but I also, yeah, a
yeah,
good firearm, you practice, you'll target practice,
yeah,
and you can shoot the leg or
Yeah,
the
that's,
arm.
I was actually going to say that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even like that the police aim for the chest, like you
Yeah,
kill him.
yeah.
Like, come on, man.
No, like my
I don't
bow and
want
arrow, if somebody was there at 60 yards, I would hit you in the leg.
Well, there
If
was a
I
guy.
had to.
Yeah. Well, there was a guy in Toronto who had a knife.
Yeah.
Everybody was off the bus. The bus was surrounded by police, and they all emptied their weapon on this guy. I would have shot for the hand.
They
I
shot
mean,
him.
I would have shot the hand with the knife in it, if anything, or tased him,
Yeah, yeah.
non-lethal.
Yeah,
Even a rubber bullet would have been fine.
a good arm
Because
shot, then he can't hold the weapon, right?
this is a mental health issue here.
Yeah.
This is not so would you make sure that the police have a mandate not to do kill shots, not to unload their weapons, to assign one person to shoot?
Wasn't he on the
And
bus alone too? Like there
he
was
was
no threat at the
alone.
time when they shot him.
Yeah, he was alone.
Yeah. They
But
could have
all
waited
of
it out,
yeah,
and somebody should have had one of those tasers. Those tasers aren't the greatest either. They've harmed people as well.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would say rubber bullet would be fine.
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
But the fact that they all emptied their guns is an act of treason, act of murder. That they all just zestfully emptied their guns when it only would have taken one shot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, would you be for reforming the police and how they address these sorts of situations?
Yeah, I don't know what levels those are, but that is definitely something I would want to find out that I can do or cannot do, and or
Hmm.
like what the protocol where we just discussed it there, like rubber bullets. So rubber bullets hit him in the arm, he drops the knife, and then you rush in. The
Yep.
only time, like let's say he came out of that booth and he's rushing towards you, then obviously you'd have use something different, and maybe you didn't have the rubber bullet on. Like, well, every car should have a rubber bullet gun ready.
But if they have martial arts training, they can actually bring him down without shooting anything.
Yeah,
They,
like if they're
they
like Steven Seagal.
it, well, yeah, but they're taught to fight. I mean,
Yeah.
that's part of the
Well,
training. So they should be able to
you don't want
throw.
to be harmed either, right? Like
Yeah, but
you're trying to do your
followed.
civic duty. I
No, but they all have bulletproof vests. They're not really in that much danger.
well
They
with
don't
a
need.
knife though, like you could cut an artery. I
It's
wouldn't want
true.
to.
It's true.
I wouldn't want to go in like that either.
No, I understand. I understand that too. I mean, that would be taser, rubber bullet, and also self-defense.
Yeah.
I mean, they should be trained to do that, so they don't have to kill someone
Yeah,
that's
like
mentally
in the car, there
unstable.
should be shotgun, rubber bullet gun.
Mhm,
Like you should be in the trunk right away. And then you'd have two regiments. So you'd have people
mhm.
with guns in case something went wrong. But your first infantry at front line should be the rubber bullet band. Like I
So,
think
would you stop the distribution, the government distribution of fentanyl, and make that illegal?
1000%.
Oh, can you believe that? And then we're dealing with mental health issues, and the cops are free to kill them if they feel threatened.
So I
Meanwhile,
actually had a
the citizen.
whistleblower talk about that.
Yeah, yep, yep. Yeah, I've had police on here. I've had rangers, army, and they're all corrupt. The only people they give promotions to are fellow narcissists. That way, they keep the bad people in power and keep the good people from power.
So
And that's why we have systemic issue in every department now.
I only speak on issues if I can have two supporting documents, and I have two supporting documents on the opiate crisis now. So you're only supposed to get like 2 shots of fentanyl today, or methadone, or whatever they're giving them. So I was in this private group, and the person that actually is in those centers is seeing um, they're getting 30 times the amount that they're supposed to be getting. Then they're taking those and then they're trading and getting fentanyl for it. So they're getting 30 times the amount they're supposed to be getting instead of the amount. So whatever corporation is supplying those safe injection sites is oversupplying them all, and then they're trading it for fentanyl. So they're getting fentanyl anyways because they're getting oversupplied.
Wow. It's like the government has betrayed us, but we're dealing with a criminal situation here, treason. In
I
my
feel like
opinion,
they don't care about the homeless, and they want to kill the homeless by oversupplying them.
but they're also flooding people. Most people that follow Islam, and this is not an Islamic country. We don't have child brides, and we don't honor kill, and these people do not back away from their beliefs. They bring them with them,
Yeah.
and they do, and they are going for into politics. So it's replacement, while they're fentanyl, trying to poison the minds and the bodies of people who are actually from here. It's just so sad to watch, and I feel very black pilled. So I automatic by default, I feel honored that you're here. I'm honored that you're willing to take the hits from the liberals and the conservatives, because they're going to come after you and look
Oh,
for anything they can find.
well, there's nothing they can find on me because I work a job now that I can't say where I work. They came after me for a year and a half, and I wasn't even running for the PPC party. I was just trying to support them and put out videos. And I actually know the algorithms are preventing. If you type PPC, like you and I are in this interview right now, and you put Stephen Campbell PPC candidate, I actually won't put PPC in my thing because they actually won't let it be seen. So I did some testing in recent weeks. So I have 4 different accounts, and the accounts that get seen are the things where I leave the name of the PPC party out. So that has my higher hit counts. If
So
I put
that,
PPC in the Facebook algorithm, they prevent it from being seen.
so that's election interference.
Yeah. Twitter is much better, but I think like I don't even look at liberal and I don't look at blue, and I'm getting tons and tons and stuff of them in my feeds, and I don't even look at them. So there shouldn't even be an algorithm in my feed to even for me to see it. And that's another problem with social media and groupthink, because somebody sees, oh, red, 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 red. Well, then they think that way, even though they've never seen the other argument or point.
It's a form of mind control.
Yeah,
Just like the
because
poll.
the rule of marketing is if you see something 7 times, you now believe it, whether it's a lie.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Because they
you
see the
think that
polls, they see party
you
winning.
think it's truth.
A lot of PPC supporters are going to look at the polls, see the liberals winning, and just vote for conservative, thinking that it will stop the liberals.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the polls themselves are just a form of manipulation from what I believe is we're been usurped.
Yeah.
In every department, they're in the school boards and the city councils, all levels of government, and all the checks and balances are gone. Even whistleblowers, as you know.
Yeah, like I'm in 10 different freedom groups, and I go there, and they're in their barns in their freedom, sitting in their barn.
Yeah.
And they have nice like I was in one the other day, and they talked about buffalo milk. They talked about transplanting trees and splicing hybrids. There was 2 other good talk. Oh, child sex trafficking and how they're doing it, and it was worse than I ever thought.
Well, you must have heard that Klaus Schwab resigned from the World Economic Forum. Do you think that's going to make any difference?
He probably still controls it somehow.
Yeah. See,
I don't want anything. I'm for Canada and Canada only. I want to restore 51% ownership of Canadian companies. I want the citizens to own the land. Foreign corporations can no longer own our land, because that's what's really driving up our prices. So, like, if you think of Vancouver has 1/3 of the houses are sitting empty because foreign ownerships sit on empty houses. Like that would fix our whole homelessness problem. That would fix our immigration problem. Like we have 300,000 homeless people in that's like the size of city of London. Our 13th largest city in Canada is
Terrible.
population base of homeless people.
Terrible, terrible, terrible.
So,
To
and
me, it's all like by
then
design,
on top of that, we don't properly vet the
right?
immigrants. And
Yep.
the reason you have to properly vet them is because you have to set them up for success. If you bring them here and you're not setting them up for success, they're going to fail and they're going to be on the streets as well.
Yep.
That's why we have the
Yep.
full moratorium in plan as well. So it's a multifaceted problem to fix the problem. And I think we're the only party that thinks this way.
Yeah, it seems so. How's the response been in Elgin?
Yeah.
How do you find people are responding to the PPC where you live?
Everyone likes us, but they get fooled into that leadership stuff. And they're like, so this lady was screaming, oh, I'm not voting for conservative. She's conservative. I'm not voting for conservative because conservative, that guy's a bigot. I'm not voting for him. And I'm not voting for you either because you're not going to get enough seats. So I'm going to vote liberal. I'm like, oh my God.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And then another guy is up in Tim Hortons. This guy's like, I'm conservative. I was like, great, because there's no NDP guy running at that time. I was like, good, because I can take all the NDP seats, and it'll be the blue guy and us, and we'll be 1-2, and one of us will win. He's like, well, I'm voting liberal because Mark Carney's economics major. I'm like, no.
Yeah, but he's been advising Trudeau into the hell we live in.
Yeah. And like even Stephen Harper, he was part of Stephen Harper's government.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they never balanced the budget either. There was one year that they pretended to balance a budget, but after the Auditor General actually reviewed the books, they did not balance the budget, and they sold off the GM shares at a loss to try and balance the budget.
Yep.
And they still couldn't balance the budget, selling our things off at a loss instead of hanging on to it and getting the proper dollar value. So if they didn't try to balance the budget as an election trick, because that's all it was in his last year that he lost, if he would have held on to the shares the next year, we could have balanced the budget.
Unbelievable.
And he's the one that gave away the 51% control. He's the Canadian ownership. We had a train factory here in London, Ontario. He gave them $1 billion. Caterpillar bought them. And now we do not have those jobs. We do not have the patents. And now it's in Indiana. And I think most of our workers that used to work there, half of them were offered to go down there to work, and they moved. They left our country. Good workers left our country.
I don't know why, but this the site is not opening that you gave me. I'm gonna try to get to it another way.
Yeah.
There we go. I think I might.
It has to have the HTTPS. If it's HTTP, they fail. The internet did that a while back. It's just a money grab scheme.
Well, I'll just let it load. So, is there anything that you want to tell your constituents? Like, if anyone knows anybody that lives in Elgin, St. Thomas, or London South, please share this with them so they can be informed and get to meet Stephen.
And not only sharing is the biggest thing. A like doesn't get you anywhere. Shares are the only thing that get me seen. So people are hesitant to share the material sometimes, but the share is the only way I can be seen. The algorithms prevent us. And like even the ones, I remove the word PPC from all my material now so that I can get seen.
It's pretty bad when you have to do that, eh?
Yeah. Like I can't even promote myself in the way I want to. And originally, actually, I built this campaign under Elgin PPC. So I had Elgin PPC on Twitter and Facebook. and then I got banned on both of them. I got my Twitter account back. The Facebook is still banned for 180 days. And then so I'm lucky enough Chelsea was here. If it wasn't for Chelsea, I'd be dead in the water. So we have an old account called ppc.eml. That's the old district name. So I can't change it either because the other one's locked out. And then I ran provincially under Lambton, Kent, Middlesex. Well, I ran in a by-election for Dean Eves because he wasn't unavailable in the by-election. So I'm using this old account called lkm.notice. So it's very hard to see me. And then Chelsea shares where I'm going to be for events. So that's how I get my information out. But it's very hard when you finally find me. I need that share because all those accounts don't represent Elgin. Like it would have been nice to have Elgin on it so you can find Elgin.
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot of people can't find me.
Well, silencing dissent is a big issue for me, and
Yeah.
excluding people that have critical thinking and reasonable solutions and remedies to shows a criminality to me.
Mhm.
We're dealing with like a mafia of
Well,
5 rainbow Marxist colors that pretend to be different from each other because they all 338 voted to let children surgically change their sex without parental consent. All of them, every single one. There's nobody there for us. We
and I
have no representation.
on my site too right now, there was a mentally challenged person in a wheelchair that probably can't even talk, and the parent like cut off their breasts.
Oh,
Um, like I don't know the age of the person, but there's no way they consented to that surgery. Like who would sign the paperwork to consent to that?
see, and that's where the parents are being manipulated too. We have parents
Well,
that are trying
I
to
don't
in their
know who that parent is. I don't know anything beyond that case. All it is a picture of the person and their shirts off and they're with the scars. Why would you want to scar your body? Like I have
yeah.
scars on my body because I was in accidents and I don't
Hmm.
like the scars on my body. Like why would you want scars? Or even like women have cancer and they lose their breasts and it's devastating to them.
Yeah, yeah.
And these kids are doing it before they're developed. Like the age of 23 is your body isn't fully developed till then, so you're gonna run into medical complications as well. I look at it
And
as more of a medical problem. And I don't care if you do it or not, but I don't think you should be on the government dime. I feel this is
yeah,
cosmetic
yeah,
surgery. And if you want to do it after 23 and
yeah.
sort of health professional has cleared you mentally, then by
Hmm.
all means you go pay for your own surgery.
Yes, because
Medic.
children are always exploring themselves. They want to know themselves. They want to know the world, and they may turn left, and right, and go back and forth. But just because they're think one way in one day, you
Yeah.
don't like turn them into eunuchs that will never have children, never have orgasms, never have children.
What
They're
was that? Eunuchs. Eunuchs.
eunuchs is like an angel. They have no sex.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
they have no body parts functional.
I was thinking Hunger Games. What was that
Yeah,
thing?
well, that's a eunuch.
They
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 have no
they cut off
they
their tongue.
yeah, they have no genitalia. That's a
Yeah,
eunuch. But in some cultures they do that. But this is all based on how they feel that particular day, and
yeah.
they're willing to run with it, and then offer them maid after they're 12 years old because and they will jump at that because they'll be suffering. They will have no pleasure, no they will just be dead down
Well,
there, and that's
my
probably the biggest crime against humanity.
my one car accident, like I almost lost my leg, and I didn't feel so. Like
Yeah,
if
that's
somebody
scary.
like
That's scary. Yeah.
you think that way that day or that month, but
Hmm.
I recovered. I recovered, right? So I rebuilt my body. I spent 2 years working out in the gym. I did a 3 year degree in 2 years in working out in the gym every day so I can walk. And I'm 47 today, and I play men's competitive fastball, and I train with ISC pitchers, and I catch them every day. And like, just because there's a month of time where I thought improper thoughts for a
Hmm.
month, and to think that way and not be able to rebuild your life and not think in the positive manner that you can still overcome anything.
Hmm. Did you say you were 47?
Yeah.
Holy smokes, you look young. You don't look a day over 46.
Yeah, people like think I'm young and they're like, oh, you're too young to run in politics. Meanwhile, my friend Monty McNaughton started when he was 19.
You're
And he
lucky.
got out of politics and he backed a very bad candidate because he wants to get back into politics
Uh,
someday.
oh.
But Karen Vecchio in our region does not support the current candidate, and I met the candidate that she did want to support, and that guy was good. I don't think I could beat that guy actually. But Lawton, he's a he's a guy that told me to pound salt. I told him about the problems of elections and stuff 14 years ago, and he's like pound salt. So I don't respect the guy at all.
Well, when you get your seat in 5 days,
Yeah.
what will it feel like being the only person in the room that's honorable?
Well, it's gonna be awesome too, and like I'm a guy too. Like I don't go and like those guys they've already rented both of them actually. I just found out today the liberals and the conservatives both rented the same venue. There's two different halls, and they're at the same venue together. I was like, stay
Oh
away from
no,
there. There's gonna be a
there's
brutal
gonna be
fist fight. Like
fires.
these guys are fighting tooth and nail right now, and the
Oh,
liberals. Do you know that meme that's going everywhere in the world, right? Like Canada right now, that guy with the two fingers. That guy's from Elgin, and he's been harassing me in Lawton.
whoa,
There's a mob of 25 of them. They've been harassing us.
unbelievable.
So
So when
that's and they're going back and forth, harassing each other, protests in front of each building. And Lawton hasn't showed up to a single debate. I'm the four-time champion. I've shown up to all of it. And the no good man, uh, he didn't show up to this coalition Lambeth debate. And I caught him. He was out voting for himself while he could have been in the debate. And then I caught the orange guy. The orange guy was supposed to be at a debate he didn't show up to, and they had a table for him. And so I only debated the liberal guy, and that crowd, that mob, he put them on me and never even let me speak in the debate. And then what was next? Oh, the orange guy, orange guy. So he was at Lindsay Matheson's event for the coalition. So he knew all the questions, and he declined the Lambeth event. So it was the
oh,
same. So only the green and the orange showed up for London Fanshawe. I think maybe they didn't invite the PPC guy. And
huh.
then so Daniel B, they didn't invite him. And then for uh, mine, none of the people showed up. So I'm the four-time champ. They haven't even shown up to debates. So supposedly tonight we have a debate. Supposedly all four are going to show up, but they're showing up to the farmers debate, which I own. So I went against Steve Pinsino. This guy's so dumb. He was reading verbatim from Monty McNaughton's script, which is my good buddy, and I studied the previous year's debate. He was reading verbatim from Monty's script. So he started talking about, oh, we gave everybody their sticker money back, but not farmers. Farmers didn't get their sticker money. The farmers still have to pay. So I cut him up on every single issue. Like, so you're not allowed rebuttals. But as soon as he said something, I'd waste 30 seconds rebuttaling him because he was so stupid, and then I would spend only a minute 30 talking about my issue, which was a better issue because I already knew what he was going to talk about.
Oh man, stealing
And then
speech, stealing elections. We're dealing with criminals here.
and then he didn't show up to a single debate after that. And well, the media doesn't say anything, and
No,
nobody
of
pays
course not.
attention in a by-election. So
No.
that one was televised. But when you look at YouTube hits, it barely hits 300, and we have 100,000 people, and only 300 people watch the debate where I totally own the guy. And then I just ran in the provincials again. So this one wasn't recorded. There was only 200 people in the room in Elmer, and I got under Robbie Flack's skin, Flake, and he had an outburst. He's like, "I didn't steal that man's land," and I was like, and I went right back to him. I was like, "Yes, you did. I own his cornhead because I own the cornhead of one of the people that they took land from."
Yeah, well, he would not be a guest on my show. It's simple
And
as that.
and that Ontario PC government. So in Wilmot right now, they're trying to defend their land, and so Mountain Oak, they get the Ford government's telling municipalities to take land for industry, but they just picked random land, and it just happens to be this Mountain Oak cheese, and they're a major distributor and a major business of cheese in Ontario, and that's the piece of land they decided to pick. And then we have another problem down here. There's a holdings company. I don't even think it's Canadian home owned, because you go back to that issue that Harper took away 51% control. So anybody anywhere in the world can invest in a company, and then they have the investment capital to overpay all the land in Ontario, basically, in Canada. So teachers' funds are buying up all the land overpriced. This investment companies are buying up all the land overpriced. This one investment company is trying to buy the marina where Monty McNaughton grew up with his own trailer park home in Port Glasgow. And they're trying to buy the land. There was an award counselor there at the time when they're trying to buy the land. I'm hoping I can get in time to save that, because I go to Port Glasgow every week in the summer. Like, I love it the way it is. I don't, and there's another development that's not being developed. Why don't they just buy that and develop it over there? They want to buy the land that I'm used to, all the friends and people I know there. And none of these other guys that are running against me, they don't know anything. They don't know anything about Dutton. Dutton has a sewer problem. Dutton has a senior backlog, but that's not really a major issue. If a senior person has to live with their family a little longer, that's actually nice. I lived with my grandmother, was the house next door, so I went and had tea with her every day.
Well, is there anything that you wanted to say to your voters before we finish today?
Yeah, my FM interview comes out tomorrow, because I lost the paper ad and I got more donations, and I went from, I had 11 ads with my FM, and because of your donations at stephen.campbell@teamppc.ca, I now have 18 ads, and then the blackout period happens. So there's a little, I'm not going to tell you today. Actually, it's already on one of my other sites, and I have leaked it. I don't want to leak it before the debate tonight, because they're not going to be able to counteract what I just dropped today on my FM, the only trusted media source in Elgin. And my other trusted media source is Rogers TV in London, Ontario, film the debate, and they film it on channel 13. And it's also on YouTube. And YouTube for this region has gone up to 2,000. I don't even know. It was 2,000 last time I checked. Let's, where is it? YouTube. Let's find the count. I want to like see what the count is now, because the higher it gets, the better I look. And typically YouTube counts, looking at a Rogers debate, usually gets nothing, and I'm getting huge count. We're getting huge counts here, so that is awesome. $2,300. So the more people share that, I'm going to bump that up today in my feeds, so people can share it again. The more people see us, the more people know what's going on.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen.
Yeah.
I will on the Facebook
and you today is going to get me another 1,000 views. Like, people from every district is going to learn information today that they don't know about PPC reps, and it helps our other reps too.
Yep.
Like,
But I'll share the link on
there's things I showed you and told you today about the farming community that no other rep would know because they're not in
Mhm.
the farming community, right?
Exactly. Exactly. But this interview will be on Rumble and on X and on YouTube. I'll share the links with you, so because Facebook will delete it after 30 days.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but thank you for coming
Well,
on.
I only
And
got 10 days and this is free advertisement and it can stay on. Paid advertisement, there's a blackout
yeah,
period, and people don't know about blackout periods. So I was very lucky that my FM has always been great to me here. My FM is great to me in Strathroy, Ontario. The Middlesex
good.
Banner is great to me in Middlesex. They give me full free spreads, but there's no print media source on this side that I had to pay to get in that. And I know I have the support of the people because I started with 300 signs. They gave me money. I got 170. I got more money. I got another 300. The price point went up at that point. I had a banking problem. So, because of the banking problem, I actually got 500 signs. And I only had to do one delivery fee on the 170 was $40. But the rest of mine, I went and picked up both times because I refused to campaign on the religious weekend. I don't feel
Mhm.
it was right that the polls should be open on a religious weekend. And I actually, I went to my brother's baptism and things like that, and they spread false rumors that my truck was going to polling stations and blasting music. I wasn't even in Elgin all weekend. I had to go to St. Catharines to pick up my signs. I was at my brother's baptism. I spent a day with my family and neighbors. And then I had the Lambeth debate, which I'm the only guy that showed up.
Yeah, and there's no remedy for all this defamation of character and
Uh,
lies to
and
pull.
they called me a racist too. So I put in all my Jamaican photos. Like I actually don't let people see my private life, and I don't like sharing it. But I put
Sure.
50 Jamaican photos, and there's this lady called Mama Flo, and I come through. I walk down the. It's a 7 mile beach, and I walk probably 2 miles to see her every single day when I'm there. And I walk behind her bar, grab 2 beers. I sit with her about for an hour every day. She'll bring me mangoes for free, and then I serve people while I'm there, so she doesn't have to get up. And like people, I don't tell people those things. Like I shouldn't have to. It's like my biggest campaign supporters that have donated to my campaign are gay, so they're against the DEI program. They don't want to be outed either. They don't want to be called gay. They don't want to be called they them. They just want to dress like me or you, or and they want to be left alone in their own home.
But I mean, anytime you run in the future, this video will always be out there. It's an
Yeah,
archive of who you are, what you believe in, and the people do need to be informed because they're misinformed right now. They're bombarded with lies and trigger words, conspiracy theory. They do everything they can. But I want to thank you for coming on. Thank you for putting yourself on the line to take all these hits from the other parties. And when you're just trying to do something honest, I want you to get a seat we
yeah.
can
I
have
feel it, man. I feel it.
remedy and stop these things from happening. So I wish you all the best and
And
thank you for
I
coming.
definitely knocked it out of the park today on my FM, which airs tomorrow.
All right, thanks for joining me. And when you get your seat, want to have you back for to celebrate.
Yeah. I got your number. I got your email. Send me an email with all the links so I can link them back to me. Do monetize it because I'd love to make you money.
And thank you everyone at home for joining us at the Truth Table today.